Okay. Oh my God, it's heavy. Hey everyone, welcome to the channel and welcome to my first ever video. Now, I do apologize if my audio quality and video quality isn't the best. I'll be working on that obviously to get it all dialed in just right. But yes, nonetheless, let's start. So as the description of the video, the title of the video suggests, this is the Half Moon tank. Now, it's made by the company Tetra and it's part of their Explorer line. Now they have two different tanks. They got a normal rectangular tank and they have this, the Half Moon tank. So if you guys want to go look it up, I'll put a link down in the description where you guys can check out the tank or buy the tank. And I'll put a picture up here of what the box looks like so you guys can have a look at that. So the tank measures in at 61 centimeters. I'll put the inches somewhere up here, somewhere. But yeah, 61 centimeters from top to bottom, 51 centimeters wide, and 36 centimeters in depth. The tank comes as a kit, meaning as a kit, you obviously get the tank itself, you get the light, you get the lid, you get the in-tank filter and a heater. With this kit especially, as far as I remember, and what I had a look now, if you buy the tank kit now, you actually get fish flakes with it. You get an aqua safe, which is a dechlorinator, and obviously heavy metal. It takes out heavy metals out of the water and stuff, and you get a quick start beneficial bacteria bottle as well in the tank. Plus, you get another 2 extra filters for the filter cartridge, or 2 filter cartridges for the filter. As you guys can see, I have a frosted window film on the back of the tank. This stuff is extremely cheap. You can basically get it anywhere where you basically just go online, look up for window film frosted, and it'll pop up in drones on your shopping site. I bought mine off Amazon, and yeah, do measure your tank before you actually buy it. I kind of was looking at the measurements and thought to myself, yeah, that should be fine. But as maybe you guys can see down here, there's a little bit of a line where I actually had to go put a little bit of extra window frost in the bottom. Because yeah, mine is just not wide enough to cover the entire tank. But I mean, that's right at the bottom. That shouldn't be a problem. It's going to be covered anyway with substrate and sand. So easiest stuff in the world to apply. There's plenty of people that show you like that, give you a full introduction on how to do this. I'll obviously put a quick time lapse in on me putting on the window film. You'll see it's pretty easy. So with the frosted window film on the back, the previous scape that I had in this tank that I had running about for 4 years, I had it completely blacked out in the back and loved it. Looked really, really good. The black obviously gives the contrast, the plants, the fish, everything just contrasts the color much, deeper in the sense against the black. But I decided to go with a frosted tint this time. Just to give it a little bit more light. The black back definitely, it absorbs quite a bit of light, and obviously the deeper down you go in your tank, the darker it gets. Still loved it, but I think that this should, look quite good, especially with the rocks and with the hardscape and everything that I have planned. I think to have it a little bit more light in the tank should look actually quite good. So for substrate, I'm going to be using from Denelle the Scaper soil. Now it's a clay-based soil media, comes into little round bowls. I think this one here is 1 to 4 millimeter little bowls. I put the aqua soil into these mesh bags. These mesh bags, basically you can find anywhere online. Just search for filter mesh bags. They're made completely out of plastic. The zipper is completely out of plastic, and that's going to be good for a multiple of reasons. Now, firstly, obviously not being out of metal means that the metal is not going to corrode underneath the substrate from the water or anything, which means that heavy metals aren't going to be released into the water column or into your substrate, which can also kill all your roots and plants. Plus, heavy metals in the water column is also not good for invertebrates like shrimps and snails. Okay, so we're in my yard at the moment right now, and I bought a whole bag of this stuff, which is the whole bag of lava rock. Now, this stuff you can basically get at your local Home Depot. It's cheap. I mean, I think I paid for a whole bag of 25 kilos of this stuff. Basically, I think I paid like 10 euros. It's very, very cheap, and it's extremely good for a base layer of your substrate. As you can see, the little rocks, basically they are covered in little holes everywhere, and this is going to be a perfect little media for beneficial bacteria in your soil. Now, obviously, this is going to go at the very, very bottom of the substrate layer, and then I'm going to put over the escaper soil and then cap it all off with sand. So this is obviously going to give a lot of room for fresh water and oxygenated water to go into the very, very, very bottom of the substrate. Now, I am going to be cleaning this off though, because yeah, it is pretty dirty. I want to try and get it as clean as possible so that all the little holes and so on are free of dirt, which means that beneficial bacteria can obviously colonize it, more easily. Plus, it's just going to hopefully not cause so much dirt in the tank. Now, as you guys can see, the stones are actually gotten pretty nice and clear. Hopefully that it focuses. It doesn't seem like it wants to focus. Oh, there we go. And the light is a little bit dark, but yes, the stones are quite nice and clear at the moment. We're going to put a few stones into the mesh bag. I don't really want much. I only want to have like a little thin little strip, but let's add some. So yeah, something like that. Just have a little bag, not too full. Okay, that should be enough. I'm gonna add, obviously, the lava rocks first. Try and just spread them out, something like that. Spread them out a little bit, give me somewhat of a good base, something maybe like that. And then obviously add our aqua soil bags and try and get them nicely over them. Now we're going to cap it all off with sand. I'm going to give it a nice layer, about 2-3 centimeters of sand. That's also going to, cap off the back line that I have there with the frosted. That should, as mentioned, lock in all the nutrients and give me a good base to start off with planting, and obviously to start building up the hardscape. Okay, these are quite heavy, but yeah, I've got 2 bags of sand. I got one grain size that is a little bit finer and around about like a brownish sand, reddish brownish sand. And then I have another one, which is a little bit of a coarser grain and more, naturally, rubbery white, brownish look. And I'm going to mix these together and obviously cap it all off. Obviously, you might be wondering, why do I have 2 massive bags of sand? And again, went off to my local gardening center place, and yeah, you can literally just buy bags of sand for dirt cheap. Another option would be to get pool filter sand at any basically hardware store, garden center, stuff like that. It's extremely cheap, it looks good, and you don't need to pay a lot of money to basically get all these name brand sands. So that's what I did. Got 2 bags of 25 kilos, 50 kilos of sand, obviously way too much for this tank, but for future scapes, I'll definitely have enough for quite some time. But yes, I'm going to mix them together and then we're going to cap it all off. Okay, I'm just going to start adding some sand. I didn't bother cleaning the sand. It should be no problem. But yes, I'm going to start obviously with the foreground, just pour the sand in. This is going to keep the, well, if you don't use mesh bags, this is obviously going to keep your power sand, Nutri-Base, and so on, obviously, yes, in the back if you pour a little layer of sand like this. Now, as you guys can see, I'm just using the fine sand at the moment. I'm going to be adding about scoop for scoop, mixing it up a little bit, see how it looks. Take a little bit of some of the coarser sand, add that. Give it a little bit of a more natural look with different grains. Okay, well, that is substrate layer done. I could have maybe used one filter mesh bag with Aquasol less. There was a little corner that was always popping out of the sand. Still is a little bit, but hopefully I can cover up that with obviously with the hardscape, with the stones. Well, doggies, go lie down. They're causing a bit of a ruckus here, though. My wife just came back with the dogs. But yes, and obviously, as one can see, I went for quite an aggressive slope with the sand. So hopefully the sand and the coarse sand is obviously going to not cause me any problems over the long term of causing any anaerobic places in the soil. But we'll have to see. For now, that's the substrate done. So for hardscape, I'm going to be using Dragonstone. Now, I absolutely love Dragonstone. The textures of it, all the little crevices, the holes, the color of it, I absolutely love it. And yes, I got quite a few pieces of Dragonstone outside to create the vision of sort of the island coming up in the middle, and spiderwood to be for the accent of, well, the wood accent. So I got a few smaller pieces here that I can see to try to mingle in there somehow. I do also have 3 very big pieces of spiderwood that I look quite cool. But obviously these in this tank, that's just going to be too big, too much. So I need to still cut these down and get them into shape, or just see what I can do with the smaller ones, or the big ones, just break a few pieces off and start scaping the island. Now, the Dragonstone, unfortunately, always quite dirty. When you buy it, basically all the little holes and everything, they completely clogged up and, compacted with clay and other forms of sand and so on. And I want to clean them as best as I can. Firstly, because once you fill the tank up with water, the fish, the snails, everything that's going to be crawling and picking at the rocks and so on, it's going to constantly be releasing very, very fine sediment into the water column, and it's always going to have a little bit of a haze to it, which I want to try and avoid. Once it's all clean, all those little holes and everything in the dragonwood are really going to come out. As you guys can see there, that's basically all just clay in the zone. So yeah, I'm still going to need to clean all the stones, and then I'll start scaping the island and see what we can do. Okay, so I got all my Dragonstones cleaned up, gave them a good, little rinse down, so most of the debris basically is out of them. I'm a little bit obviously nervous about this part. I wanted to look, as nice as possible, and obviously try and get the vision that I would like. Basically just jump in and start right now, place the rocks around, see how everything works out and fits, and just go for it. Basically, that's all that I can think of now. Okay, I'm actually quite pleased with that. Yeah, it still needs a little bit of time to dry, but it looks quite sturdy so far. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this, which is a whole kilo of synthetic filter wool. Again, this stuff is it's cheap. Just go onto Amazon, look for filter floss, filter wool, and you guys can basically get an entire kilo for just a few little, like just a few bucks. Yeah, I mean, I bought an entire kilo. I did not think it was going to be this much. So I'm gonna take some filter wool. I'm gonna fill up all the little cracks, nooks, and crannies where you could basically go and see the lava rocks and everything in the back. Basically give it a little bit of a barrier in the sense, and then fill up the back with lava rocks to give it a nice little platform, and then I can basically continue with the scape. This is also going to be very beneficial, obviously, with the lava rocks being in the back of the scape. It's going to prevent, obviously, the fish and shrimp and so on from getting to the back, especially with the filter floss basically doing its little barrier as well. Now, the filter floss is obviously white, so it's going to be visible in the beginning, but over time, it's going to turn brown. It's basically going to take up the color of the rock, and it's not even going to be actually noticeable or visible. Plus, the lava rock in the back is going to be a perfect place for beneficial bacteria. They're going to be having a blast in those stones, have quite the colony in the back. So that's also going to be beneficial for filtration. So they're going to do active filtration in the tank itself. And yes, carry on scaping. And this is most probably still going to take the whole day. But oh well, let's get going. But so far I'm quite happy. I'm actually really liking it. Yeah, leave a comment down below what you guys think. And let's continue. If you like the video so far, hit the like button down below, subscribe. Don't forget to push the notification bell for future content, and let's carry on with the video. I am quite pleased so far. Never mind the little piece on top there with the floss. I'm still going to glue some rocks up in there. Kind of took that one off quite quickly. I'm going to try and actually put some more lava rock right into the back there. There's a little gap on top, obviously, where I can put some lava rock in. Try to fill up that space in there. One thing that I can definitely only recommend, that basically everyone has always been saying on all the other channels and videos, use gloves when using super glue. My fingers are completely glued up, but I think it is quite solid so far. Like, I was trying to move it around, it felt quite solid. I mean, it's heavy, it's pretty damn heavy, so yeah, moving it is going to be quite a problem. As mentioned, I'm going to put some lava rocks in the back. I'm still going to put some small little stones everywhere, try and fill up some gaps and so on. I'm going to use some filter floss to fill up the gaps as well. And then it's onto wood. As you guys can see, I changed my clothes. It's been, I think, 2 days that basically I've just been staring at the tank. The last time when I finished up the rock structure, I just ran out of time in the day, had some other obligations to do in real life. Now, I had 4 smaller pieces of spider wood that I bought months back, basically. And then I bought 3 bigger pieces. As you guys can obviously see, I took the bigger pieces and just chopped everything off that basically looked of interest, and you know, the big stumps obviously just can't integrate them. I basically just got all the little sticks now together, and off camera I did play around a little bit. I put in a few sticks, you know, just to see what it might look like in the end. Obviously I took everything back out again, because what I sort of created then, you know, like, I wasn't really happy with exactly. I also didn't have these pieces here, so those pieces there basically are, well, from the smaller sticks. These are all from the chopped up big pieces, and also you got a few little smaller branches as well that I want to integrate into the bigger branches to just give it a little bit more of a rooty texture going down the rock scape. I'm going to play around, place pieces of wood everywhere wherever I can, trying to get obviously a nice little flow to make it look like a root of a tree that are going down, basically down the stones. I'm hoping not going to take too long. For you guys, it's just going to be a quick little montage, a quick little time lapse. I'm going to go and start playing around, place some pieces of wood, and then once I'm happy with what I sort of created, you know, I'll give you guys an update. Okay, well, I'm quite pleased the way that it turned out. It also went way quicker than I expected. I went to go ask my wife to have a look at it, and she was quite pleased as well. And she also said, less is always more. I'm going to glue everything together because at the moment, as you guys saw on the time lapse, basically, if you just touch a piece of wood, it just like so, it falls down. Hopefully, I don't get all my fingers with super glue again. Once it's done, we can move it into its final position, fill it up with water, and basically have a look at it then.